And to discuss this, we have with us the most famous defense and strategic analyst, Aadi. Aadi, welcome to Bharat News. We are proud that you are here and sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Aadi, we all know that what happened on November 10th, but what followed is the analysis after that. So today, without wasting much time, that what happened on November 10th, we will directly dwell into the analysis of it. So the first question arises here. What type of attack is this? We have seen that an AK-47 has been found in the car of a lady doctor. We have also seen the chemical resin. So was it an attack like the 2611, or was it a attack like the chemical attack or a bio attack? What was it actually?
The bio attack, to my mind, is a bit different than what happened in Delhi. There's a bit of difference between both of them. There are two separate things which have taken place, but these are uh, maybe or may not be connected. At the moment, we don't know exactly what's happening because it's too early. It's just been
Okay,
5-7 days since the time this has happened, and there's a lot of intelligence, and multiple countries are involved. So I don't want to say specifically, but what one can see is that there is a concerted effort to make sure that multiple attacks are done in India to in major places to create chaos, and it seems to have hands of multiple countries. For example, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Turkey. Links of all of them are getting investigated. And one thing that we see is that the way these attacks were carried out, it you can say it was 2611 type, but the modus operandi was completely different. They wanted to carry out explosions around the place. So when you talk about explosions, it is about creating mass casualty events in public spaces. This is not a new tactic. This has been done before, not just in India, but multiple other places around the world, even in the US or multiple other places. We've seen this kind of multi-stroke attack. London bombings and stuff was an example. So in the West, people do understand what this is. Now, as far as the connections are concerned, it's not directly, like last time in Pahalgam when it happened, we knew exactly where it came from.
yes,
It was Pakistan, and the guys admitted to it, and this and that. This time, because it's a larger network of people, it is a bit difficult. Now, you mentioned doctors. That's the shocking part, where white collar terrorists are now this thing. But a terrorist, white, blue, green, red collar, it doesn't really matter. Um, you know, it's absolutely uh, unpardonable for somebody who's into life saving to be taking lives. So that's something that we saw, which is it's not new. It's been done before, but it's not happened for a long time. And that's a new angle of this whole situation. Apart from that, Kashmir back again in focus. There is
yes,
the links to all these doctors are in Kashmir. There is that organization which is the Al Falah, which is linked to Kashmir. So
yes,
one thing that is coming out, that there is that issue which is there and which is being taken advantage of by the other side. And this is not a new network; it's been there. Now that investigations are on, you can make out this was there since 2021, 2022. They were operating quietly. There's no question. They've been doing it, and there is a huge network that is being unearthed as we speak. So yeah.
definitely. So by what we have seen in the news and what the investigations are going on, we have read that this is a small incident that was happened by mistake. Actually, the plan was to blast 34 cars all over India. There were specific dates. The raid which fall in India before the strike happened has made the culprit, the terrorist which has done the suicide attack, the car suicide attack, IED blast at the Red Fort, was in panic and was going there, and he thought that he was being caught, and so he did the attack. This type of analysis has been there in the market. Also, many analysts says that it was a plan for the Ram Mandir, the date when Ram Mandir was inaugurated. Someone says that it's for the Bihar election. What you think that what was the major terror attack that we have
I don't think
prevented?
this was, I don't think this was an accident. I don't think this was panic. This was basically the last attempt of a because their network was broken by our intelligence
Yes.
agencies. This guy was still loose, so he did what he had to do. Simple as that. These guys are terrorists. They had, this was their final plan, to attack prominent public places. Uh, Most likely, in my opinion, I don't know why he went to Red Fort, but it could be that that was his target. That was his final target, what was given to him. Um, but to call it a panicked incident and all that stuff is not this thing, because the guy was there for 3 hours with the bomb
Yeah.
in the car. So I don't think there was any panic. He knew what he was doing. Suicide attack was is what he did.
Yes.
There's no question about it. Now, as far as the dates are concerned, there's multiple theories around. The one that I believe is it was for the 6th of December, during which alleged. I mean, they've claimed that because of the Babri Masjid, but I think it was more of a geopolitical game, because at that time you would have also had the president of Russia, which would have been in India. So it's not as simple as that
Yeah.
to kind of decipher that. Their main target, of course, only the intelligence agencies will come to know, but there are a lot of theories about this. It does seem like that the date was not far away. For example, the Ram Mandir, this thing would have been in January. It
Yeah.
That would have been a bit far away. I don't think the date was that far away. The date was pretty
Okay.
close. So 6th December does seem like a this thing probable plan. And yeah, I mean, the 32 cars they were talking about, multiple spaces. They've visited the Connaught Place, they visited the
Yes.
Red Fort, they visited multiple other locations. They've been links being found all over the place. There have been targets of this kind in Ayodhya before. Recently in West Bengal, we had a huge seizure of explosive material. It was about 16,000 kgs that was seized.
Yeah.
So there has been you know a absolute continuous effort by the Pakistanis to ensure something or the other is done. Now this time it is a bit different because they have used the Bangladeshi networks, and that's coming out. So of course
Yeah.
that whole network chain needs to be established. Everything needs to be done. They've gone through Bangladesh. They've come through Nepal. Some sort of a link is coming out there as well. So, and plus, this is in the urban, so it also takes that much more effort, because you're dealing with hospitals and this and that. It's a little bit shocking as far as that is concerned. And one thing that we realized is that the minute this raid happened in Faridabad, where a lot of explosives were caught, all of these guys have basically run away. So there are a network, a lot of people say, of about 15, 16 doctors which are still to be found. Their
Okay.
phones are switched off. I don't know if they've escaped the country or what, because there is reports of a singular lady who is, Dr. Shaima.
Yeah.
So she was the head of the Jaish wing, the women's wing in India.
Yes.
She reportedly was getting her passport ready. She got her police verification and all that, going. So she wanted to, getting your passport ready means she wanted to probably escape from here, something of that sort. Uh, to where, how, with which visa, this, that, it becomes a very, big question. But, you can get out. There are visa
Yeah.
free countries that allow Indians to come inside. So you can get out and then further process yourself to go other places and things like that. So it does seem a little weird, this whole thing. And the targets are very difficult to say at the moment. But I do feel that this was not a target of, opportunity. This was not panic, because 3 hours is a long time to sit with a bomb. If it
Yes.
was panic, then he would have blown it the time he came in there. So I don't
Yeah.
personally agree with that, the word panic itself, but it does seem like this was not very well done as far as a true bomb is concerned. It was not built very well. That's why the impact has been massive, but not as big as it could have been, because it was a very crowded
Definitely.
area. A bomb of this kind, which was made with shrapnel and everything like that, would have done a lot more damage.
Definitely. What we have found from the investigations and what we have read in the news that the phones captured by the police from these doctors, the planning was from January, since January 2025. Yes, they have been planning since long, but from January 2025, they have been acting for this blast. Uh, the question here is that when we see that Pakistan is linked to it, of course, Pakistan is doing narco terrorism, so it can fund. but Pakistan is a beggar, we all know. So behind Pakistan, there are some forces who are backing Pakistan to do such activities in India. As you already thought that Bangladesh link have come into the surface. LET head has visited Bangladesh couple of days ago before this blast. The Al Fahd University, which we know is origin is in Dubai, and its sister concerns are everywhere all over the world in UK as well, and in Chennai also. So also the Turkey links are coming. The finance which has been doing for the blast has been very critical to trace because it's the digital transfer, maybe Binance. So, what do you think? Which forces are there? The West, the deep states, or what is there that are dismantling India? You can see the Bangladesh, you can see Nepal, you can see Afghanistan, Pakistan, everywhere. The neighboring countries are all disturbed, and they are also trying to disturb India. But yes, India is self-sufficient, not letting them do so. What do you think? Who are these forces, and why they are dismantling India?
Oh, there are multiple forces. It's not dismantling India. This is containment. It's not about breaking up
Okay.
India. It's containment. I mean, breaking up India is not that easy. And they
Yes.
keep talking about this nonsense. These people keep talking about it. Breaking up a country as strong as India is not that easy. We're a nuclear power. So, it's not that. This is the containment of India because, of course, there are powers in the world which don't want India to grow and prosper as what we are doing. Slowly we are coming up. Even this now, the next quarter, the growth is supposed to be 7.3 or 7.6%. So, there are powers in the world who don't want India to grow. There's no question. These people are, of course, the medium of use. uh, One thing is there is that no country needs to be rich to do terrorism. It doesn't cost anything. These are cheap labor which is found, and they're just this thing. And of course, the funding is not done through the government. It is done through
Yes.
covert sources, it's done through drugs, is done through human trafficking, and all sorts of things, which Pakistan is very famous for. Bangladesh is, of course, another node in this entire thing, where you have the jihadis taking power in Bangladesh after the throwout of Sheikh Hasina that was done by the Americans in back in 2024. Uh, One thing that we see is that there is, of course, a pattern which connects, which is the Islamic Jihad Connect, where these guys have got links all around the place. But that's not new. They've had links since 1960s. So
Yes.
it's not something which is new. They've been trying to do this for a long time. In 2014, uh, 2004, I think, there was a huge shipment of weapons that was caught in Chittagong area, 10 truckloads of it, which was
Yes.
supposed to be delivered to Ulfa, which was an organization operating in the Assam in the east. So there's, this has been they've been trying to do this, but right now it's an inflection point, in the sense when India has also said that okay, any act of something like this will have a solid retaliation. We have retaliated before, so of course there is that chance of a you know extended sort of a military action around, or some sort of an action which India will take, and that's something that costs money. When that costs money, it hurts the economy. So that's the main thing. It's just containment. If
Okay.
the past in America and the deep state and everything really think that uh, they're really worried about Pakistan and Bangladesh and their well-being and the people not being killed, when that's a joke. There's nothing of that sort. So this will be done. There is no question about it. This is something that we expect, and it's not news to us that they don't want us to grow. We will fight back as much as we can, and of course, with the will in the country today, there is no backing down. And that's something that one needs to understand, that this whole game is not orchestrated by one country itself, Pakistan.
Yes.
Pakistan does not operate independently. There are multiple forces behind Pakistan. There are multiple other countries. Like, for example, today Turkey's name is coming out pretty strongly as far as one of the monetary
Yes.
support providers for this particular
Qatar as
attack.
well.
So there is that, but there's a whole network of people that actually do this. So it's not officially done by the government by official money, but nowadays, because this whole terrorism become business has become self-sustenant by the I mean, shipment of drugs, shipment of weapons, shipment of human beings, trafficking, the so-called
Yes.
charitable organizations, which are you know which are allegedly around the place. So
yeah,
all that is there, and it's just it's as stupid as anything else. But this is what the reality is. I mean, so there are multiple countries, and it's going to be a very difficult game to just point out and say it's Pakistan. It is Pakistan. There's no
definitely,
question about it. But there's a lot more.
definitely. Why you mentioned two things, Islamic Jihad. We will come to this later. And you also mentioned that we will fight hard. Now, what the steps India taking right now is we have seen that they are gathering strong evidences before acting on any country, state, or the terrorist organizations. They are gathering strong evidences to prove that it is a terrorist attack, and they have already declared it. But what the sources are from, who funded it, who supported it, they are tracing that links. Now,
Hmm.
what do you think? Bangladesh elections is going on right now. There has been stress in Bangladesh. A suit and cite order has been given by the unionist government to the students. In Nepal also, we have seen that the same the Gen Z protest in Bangladesh. There is Gen Z protest. How do you see this new toolkit about the Gen Z protest? We have seen that in North as well. So in India. So how do you see this Gen Z protest evolving? It is a new toolkit for the world. How do you see about that?
It doesn't work in India. Because see, and I'm not being arrogant about it. It's very simple that India's Gen Z is not stupid. I mean, and
Definitely.
that's something that's coming out, which is pretty clearly by the Bihar elections. The way that the Gen Zs voted for development rather than all sorts of rubbish that the other side was giving, it very clearly shows that there is awareness within the Gen Z. Of course, there are elements who will create chaos, which is there in every country. But you know what could happen in a Bangladesh or a Nepal is very difficult to do in a large country like India. You can have a protest in one area and lock down one city or something like that, but there are hundreds of cities in this country. It, you know, one thing that resonates with something, some people in Delhi does not resonate with the people, let's say
Yes.
in Chennai or Bangalore. It doesn't happen. So that's the big problem with these people. Now they
We have
keep
seen how
creating.
it failed in Ladakh. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, see, it did fail in Ladakh, and you know, people are aware of things in India.
Yes.
People are aware of things in the sense people know that there is conspiracies being played against this country. So uh, nobody's that blind that you know we will fall for this stuff. But yeah, there will be people who are um, monetarily induced, ideologically induced, or whatever to create some chaos around the country. But you know, I don't see that as a major challenge. Uh,
Okay.
the main thing that I see is basically all these kind of activities where sabotage, terrorism, uh, a prolonged, extended conflict. These are things that will really hurt the country at the moment, and this is something which is being used against us as well. So one can see that there is a concerted effort behind this whole thing. But like creating chaos is the easiest thing in the world, right? There's
Mm,
you just create a stupid issue and people start jumping around. But one thing one must understand, and the way people are reacting in India, there is a very clear there's a very clear pattern that emerges, that people are aware more than what we think they are, because everybody takes their information from social media. I don't think social media is the right place to gauge the mood of anybody. It's
mm,
a great place to get information and stuff, but it's not the right place to do a mood analysis, because what people say on social media doesn't really ground down to reality.
yeah,
Some people are very strong on social media, but the strength of those people may be hidden in the comment section by 90% of the people abusing them. So
definitely.
one needs to kind of be very careful when you're analyzing, and that understanding is, of course, creeping into people, that everything that you do see on social media is not true. The and as I said, the biggest example is the Bihar election. The
Yeah,
entire vote story narrative was played on social media. It didn't work. It didn't impact. It didn't, even
yeah,
on the ground when people went with it. It didn't impact. It didn't work, because people are aware. And if people say that, oh, Indians are not educated and this and that, I would say I don't need education. I need awareness. And when I see the awareness within the people in Bihar, where they've actually looked at facts and participated in something which is very basic as to making sure that your voter lists are clean, uh, it tells you that there is a ground level of reality, um, which people are aware of. कि, यार, this is
Yes,
wrong, this is right, and this is how it is.
definitely. So the question about Gen Z was, we have a very famous youth leader in India, Mr. Rahul Gandhi. We have seen his recent visit to Malaysia. We have seen his meeting with Soros and anti-India elements. What India is doing right now is India is investigating about the Delhi blast. It is dismantling the terror attack within India itself before it accuses and move further to the external factor that caused this terror attack. What do you think about the Indian elements, anti-Indian elements in India who are dismantling, trying to dismantling India? What are these threats? And also, as we can see that India is right now gathering the evidences. What role will India play in the future, in the immediate future, for this Delhi terror attack? Will it strike hard on the borders, or it will just go into the UN Security Council or everywhere and talk about it? What harsh step will India take? We have definitely seen Operation Sindhu. Are we expecting any Operation Sindhu 2.0 or something like that? A few blasts happened in Pakistan also after Delhi blast, where Pakistan accused India. TTP has already claimed those blasts, and we have seen that the bomb was in the police car itself that exploded. So, how do you see this scenario? What will the next steps by India?
Military is just one aspect of a response. It's not the only response.
Yes,
And people forget that. Last time, the most deadly response was, in my opinion, there's a fight between the water stoppage of Pakistan and
yes,
the military attacks. One gives immediate results, one gives results after about 5-10 years. So uh, one must understand military is just one aspect of any response, which is a little more visible and a little loud, and it does create, of course, the feeling of strength amongst people.
yes,
That's not the only response that actually happens. There's a series of response that takes place. It starts from diplomacy, it goes into intelligence activities, it goes into military activities, it goes into economic activities, it goes into the gray zone, it goes into a whole lot of
yes,
things. So it's not something which is going to be the only way to do things. And see, one must understand, and I'm going to be very brutally honest here. No country is innocent in this world. Okay?
yes,
If there's a blast in one country, there will be a blast in another. And that's I'm not saying we are getting shit done in Pakistan. That's not my point. But the point is that this will happen.
okay,
You can't expect to burn someone else and not be burnt yourself. So this will happen. There's no question about it. And Pakistan or whoever's done this needs to brace for impact, because uh, if somebody thinks it's going to be a 4-day war and it'll be end with it, and that's the loudest part of what happened last year. People don't realize what took place around it, before it, and after it. Um, so one must look at the whole picture rather than just look at the military aspect of it. As far as the response is concerned, yes, there will be a military aspect to it. There's no question. There are links which are being established, and as I said, this is a multi-country plot. This is not a single thing. There are people involved in multiple places, so each action plan needs to be made. You need to see, you need to talk to people around the world, you need to make sure that your bases are covered. You need to plan for the worst. You need to kind of do a lot of things before you start taking action. And most importantly, the idea right now is to unearth the conspiracy and make sure that there is nothing happening more within India.
yes,
So you can start a strike and have bomb blasts again happening in your city. That'll be stupid. So what needs to be done is making sure that first our streets are safe, everything is clear. Whatever threats that were there or whatever additional threats that we can see are all neutralized. They're brought down, and then you do what you have to do. So it's not a small easy process. India takes any sort of a you know war action or action of that sort very seriously. It's not something that we take very lightly. That, oh, today morning I just woke up and went and hit someone and came back. Well, that
yes,
hit will be as stupid as anything else, because at the end of it, remember one thing: those you want to hit will also not be sitting there waiting for you to fire a missile on them. So they will be moving around. You need to ensure that you know what the things is. The terrorists will be in this thing. Their supporters will be in targets. So targets are unlimited. Now again, what happens with Bangladesh? And that's something which is important. Uh, how is Bangladesh handled? What is done in that direction? So there's a lot that needs to be taken into consideration before you kind of just open your guns. Opening the guns is the easiest thing. You need to figure out
Yes,
what you want when you open your guns also. um it's you know uh, it's easy to open your guns, but it's very difficult to walk away from it. And that's something that
yes,
you can see with the never ending wars of America itself. 20 years in Afghanistan, some 13 years in Iraq, uh, I don't know how many, some 8, 10 years in Vietnam. You have Russia going at it for 3 years, Israel going at it for 2 years. No country benefits with a continuous war. So
yes,
the selection and maintenance of objectives is the clearest possible thing when you decide to um, you know when you decide to actually start taking any action. Because remember one thing, no matter how small the country is, you need to cover all your bases. Never underestimate the enemy, and that's what I see happening right now.
definitely. And as you'll likely tell that, yes, we will establish or we will first finish off the internal threats first, and then we will move to external. Also, military will be involved eventually. So when you talk about the military, Asim Munir has already tell that the new attack to India will be from the west, and we have seen the links to from the sorry from the Bangladesh, and we have seen the links here to Bangladesh as well. Sir Creek is on high tension right now. What do you see if war happens? If then what will be the high tension region? Is it the Bangladesh side or is it the Jammu or Sir Creek or what will be the high tension area?
That's very difficult to say. I mean, I'm not going to even speculate on that particular front, because that's extremely difficult for anybody to say ki, which direction what will happen. It's not you know this thing. And the army chief of Pakistan, by the way, said the war will come from the east. So
Yes,
Bangladesh is of course on the menu, but it's very difficult to say exactly what is going to happen. Looking at the military capabilities of all these guys, of course, the western region will be a little more active than the east. Um, Bangladesh doesn't have much of a military capability to talk about. So I presume the western region will be more active than the east, as I said, but it's very difficult to say which area or anything of that sort.
okay. And what role do the world play if war happens between India and Pakistan? Suppose say what will be the role of US? It will support India or Pakistan or just negotiate in between. What will be the role of China? It will support fully the Pakistan or it will support diplomatically, just sending its ammunitions and others. What will the role the world will play?
It doesn't really matter, honestly. I mean, because at the end of it, with the world which is fractured today around the place, um, overtly there will be no support for Pakistan, because once the terror link is proved, it's difficult to support such a country. So yeah, oh no, don't take it.
Definitely.
Be measured and this and that. All that nonsense will come. But the way we reacted the last time, I don't think India's did listen to anybody at the previous time. We went in, we did what we had to, and we came out. So it's going to be the
Very much.
similar. I don't see us kind of bothering too much about it, and that's the another reason that you start taking time, because you want to talk to your friends, you want to tell them this is what is happening, this is what we see. You want to build conveniences and alliances for a particular thing. For example, Turkey will have few enemies. Maybe there's something we can start with them. They have to voice out when we require them to voice out. So there's a lot which happens at the back end, as far as um, it's not that simple for a large power, and
Yes,
especially a nuclear power, right? So
definitely.
it's not going to be as the Pakistanis does it, that they just take off and attack Afghanistan and come back, and then this is a major country which is the fourth largest economy in the world. It's got
Yes,
a geopolitical place. It's got a whole lot of things going for it. So when it will act, it has to act like a responsible power, not like a rogue, Pakistani nation. So I don't see, yeah, US will say, oh, don't do this. Oh, I'll put sanctions, I'll put trade and this and that. That doesn't really matter, because at the end of it, we already have tariffs. How much more will you tariff? Do what you
yes,
want to. So I don't think there is going to be, yeah, there's going to be a lot of media noise. There's no question about it. But beyond which, on the ground, I don't see much changes as far as the behavior of India is concerned to do with these kind of activities.
Definitely. But we know that your time is precious. But before we let you go, one last and final question to you. And this is the most important question. Why? Why this terrorist attack? What is the ideology behind it? It is not only India who is suffering from these attacks. The whole world is suffering from it. And it is not just the bomb attack. It is the hard terrorism, what we call. There are parts of the soft terrorism as well. We have seen in Europe, we have seen in UK what is going on right now. So we have to discuss on this. This is the most important topic. And to address this, we have to name it. And what I name it is will just read one paragraph, the actual definition. So Islamist terrorism, often called as Islamic terrorism or jihadi terrorism, is referred to as Islamic terrorism, radical Islamic terrorism, or jihadist terrorism. Islamist terrorism refers to acts of terrorism defined under national and international laws carried out by individuals or groups who claim to act in the name of Islam, motivated by fundamentalist and extremist interpretation of Islamic teachings and driven by political, religious, or ideological objectives. These acts may include but are not limited to bombings, armed attacks, kidnapping, assassinations, forced conversion, hostage taking, gang rapes, and instances of violation intended to spread fear, intimidate civilian populations, destabilize societies, and influence political or governmental actions. So, what I just tell you about the hard terrorism and soft terrorism. So, hard terrorism is 9/11 attacks, 26/11, Paris attack, London bombings, and soft terrorism. This is the main because behind every hard terrorism there's a lots of planning, lots of everything, and that's the Islamist of terrorism. Propaganda through IS, recruitment videos, refusal to prosecute terrorist attacks, radicalization, cover up of terrorist activities, blasphemy accusations, cultural and religious intimidation, online hate campaigns, boycotting and marginalizing of communities, love jihad, contributing of manufacturer anti-Israel policies. There are many. For each and every city, state, country, geography, there are different kinds of soft terrorism activities. So, what do you think about this Islamist terrorism? It is, I think that it is the time that we should name it so that we could defend it. What are the thoughts on it?
It's been named, but what does it do?
So,
It's as
what does
simple as
it do
that.
that we have to?
We must understand one thing: Islamic terrorism is everybody knows what it is, but the point is who uses it.
Yes,
I'm not bothered about Islamic terrorism. Terrorism will be terrorists are terrorists, but there are powers in the world that are justifying it even today, and that's not Pakistan. If the Al Qaeda's leader in Syria is sitting in the White House, then well, you know what? Somebody needs to look up and say what the hell is happening here.
yes,
If a leader of a terrorist country, right, is having lunch with the president of America, somebody needs to sit up and watch what's happening. So nobody's that stupid, like people don't define it in public, right? But everybody knows in the heart what's happening. The point is that we're not ready to call a spade, right? Why is it that this stuff is emanating from only from Islamic nations? And that's something that needs to be looked at. The Islamic community, the Muslim community needs to look at it. If they say that, oh,
definitely.
it's not this, then fair enough. Look at it. Please look inwards. Please figure out a way to de-radicalize your youth. Please figure out a way to change the Maulvis and Maulanas and the entire funding networks. But that's, of course, not done. Why? Because it benefits a few people.
Yes.
And that's how
So
it is.
this
That's
is
the
not
reality.
against. Yes, this is not against
So
any Muslims. There are many Muslims in Indian Army. I
it's
salute
not
our
about
late
not about
president. Yes,
Muslims or anything
APJ
like that.
Abdul
It's
Kalam
about
sir. Yes,
it,
but this
it's
community has been radicalized more, and we have to speak now. If we don't speak, we can't act it strongly.
it's not
That what
about
I think.
it's please understand, I'm not talking about Muslims or anything like that. I'm talking about the larger game where these people are used.
Yes,
Who
I understand
started
your
this
point.
entire nonsense in this region? It was the Americans.
Yes,
Who promoted the entire nonsense in this region? It was the Pakistanis. Under whom? The Americans. Who started the nonsense in to who backed the Al Qaeda in Syria to take over power from Assad? It was the Americans. So a lot of these things are done by these countries to ensure that there's a certain amount of this thing. Who's been stopping the sanctioning of terrorists in the United Nations? It's China. So
Yes,
it's yes, terrorists are terrible and they need to be killed. There's no question about it. But I find these people to be even more responsible than the terrorists.
definitely,
Somebody who's going to be covering up for the terrorists, somebody who's going to be, so we can keep talking about, yeah, this Pakistan and this and that. Who encourages Pakistan? Pakistan should not exist.
definitely,
It should not exist as a country. Why is it existing even now? Why is it being given money? Why is it being promoted? By whom? And that's something which is
definitely,
extremely clear. So the hypocrisy in the West is now they want us to focus on Islamic terrorism and fight amongst ourselves and create a riot on the street. Fair enough. That may or may not happen, and I don't. Of course, I am not a promoter of violence. That may or may not happen. But at the end of it, who's supporting these people?
definitely.
Whose
Yes,
financial networks are being used here? See, nothing happens
definitely,
without money. Ideology is all something that is sold to that vulnerable person. It all needs money. If Donald Trump can come out and take Binance's chief operating officer from jail and drop all the charges with him, someone who was known to do money laundering with bloody terrorist groups, who's at fault? Pakistan or Donald Trump? I can, of course,
definitely,
Pakistan is a symptom and I'm going to hit it. There's no question about it. But at the end of it, the reality is that the powers in the world have been using these people against all of their enemies, all of their adversaries, or all of them or their potential challengers. And that's the challenge. India can't fight a war with America, nor America can fight a war with India. But this is the
definitely.
reality of the game. So yeah, I absolutely support your definition. There is no question about it. But I would add in that definition that all this is compounded by the factor that there are powers in the world that are used that use
Yes,
these people with their rotten mindsets for their own geopolitical benefit. To me,
definitely.
that's even the most dangerous thing rather than the ideology itself. If it was just the ideology, it can be dealt with.
Okay.
But there is a hidden network which is paying this ideology. There's
Yeah,
a hidden network that is supporting this ideology. There's a hidden network that is, allowing them to speak, allowing them to do whatever they want to. Because in certain areas it benefits them, in certain areas it doesn't. So where it doesn't
definitely.
benefit them, they go and bomb those people and cry when India does it. The
They are
hypocrisy
also
is
the
clear.
victim of jihad. Yes.
No, they don't
Few
care. If anybody thinks that the so-called powers that be in the West is extremely bothered about their citizens and people dying around the place, well, that's a joke in itself. I'm sorry, that's sounding a little harsh, but that's reality. That's
No,
brutal
they are
truth.
the victim as well. Few days back, I
They
wrote an article that Jamaat in Bangladesh have sent people to US, to New York in Zohran Mamdan's election, and the financial traces have also been traced. So, and right now, yesterday news was there that Zohran has made compulsory in the New York school that they have to learn the Arabic numericals. So, jihadis over there, they are the victims as well. So, what they are supporting, it is hitting them as well. So, yes, definitely. Uh, we have to dismantle this ideology, and we have to also look that who is supporting this ideology, what you rightly told. uh, any final message, Adibhai, you want to give to
no,
our live
it's
audience?
it's going to be it's going to be very very uh, important to understand that this is a long term fight. It's not a short term fight,
Definitely.
right? It's going to be a long term fight that one will need to fight. So it's
Yes,
not just going to just switch off like that. So this is a fight that is going to, it's probably going to start now. And when I say fight, it may or may not be military or
yes,
partly military or whatever it is, whatever India decides to do. But the most important thing is something that we need to understand is that uh, this entire game is there that people need to play. Now, who decides to sit on the right side of the game and who decides to sit on the other side and who decides to hide behind trees is for everybody to see.
definitely. Thank you so much, Adi bhai. We learned a lot from you. Thank you for your time. Jai Hind, Jai Hind, and see you soon on Bharat News again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Yeah.